the mindset to actually make money is what changed the game for me. That's what was able to get me out of my 9 to 5 job and go all in with my business. Now, we don't talk a lot about the mindset part because that's kind of like, we want to hear the tactics and the strategies to make that first $10,000 month, right? But the mindset is the actual thing that's going to help you get to where you want to be. I don't care. I could give you all the frameworks, the strategies in the world, but if you don't have the right mindset, then it's not going to get you to where you want to be. So in today's training, we're going to be talking about how to train your brain to actually start making money, okay? Because you need to have that strong mindset and that mindset shift to be able to get to where you want to be. So in today's training, we're going to have a multiple six-figure affiliate, platinum affiliate for Legendary Marketer. And she actually started in March of 2021, guys. So not even a full year. She's been doing this and she's already crushing it. So I'm really, really excited to have Sarah Ravel on here. What's going on, Sarah?
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. I'm really excited to have you on here. And guys, if you guys are watching this on live, comment a hashtag live down below. Let us know where you're watching from because we have a super special training today. Now, Sarah, you just started this business in March of 2021. What got you into the affiliate marketing space? And just give us a quick couple minutes on how you got started.
Yeah. So I came across affiliate marketing actually by finding Legendary through another affiliate.
Awesome.
I did some research on what affiliate marketing would really entail because I had heard about it before, but had never really looked into it.
Yeah.
I was working at a grocery store as a seafood clerk, and money was it wasn't working. It was getting, tight. And I needed to find something else. So when I found affiliate marketing, kind of looked into it, got an idea, and I was like, you know what the heck, might as well give it a try.
Very nice, very nice. Well, so you started recently. Like, are you doing this full time now?
Yes.
That's awesome. Very cool. Well, what are we going to be talking about in this training? Because I know we named it, training your brain to start making money. But what are we actually going to be talking about? And if you just want to go right into it, and we can do Q&A at the end, or however you want to do, you go ahead and take it away.
Okay. So I wanted to talk about a little bit today about kind of content creation and mindset. I'm going to go over a little bit about my strategy when I sit down to make content, but then also the main focus is just keeping your mind on. I say mind on the money, but not in a literal sense, more of just mind on the motion of moving towards money.
Mm-hmm.
I think that when we sit here and look at the idea of content creation, we kind of get scared or frozen or caught up in the almost like the quote drama of social media before making content. So I just have some ways to keep your mind set in a good area so you're not getting lost in the creation.
Yeah. Well, now I do have a question on that. So when you first started, did you start just creating content right away? Or were you kind of like nervous to get on camera? Because we have a lot of beginners in here that they want to get started. They understand the power of TikTok, YouTube, affiliate marketing. They're just super scared to get on camera. Like, were you kind of scared to get on, or were you able to just dive in?
I was really scared. I mean, I still get nervous, even doing these lives, I still get nervous all the time. I think I finished all of the training and like setting everything up. And I think I actually took like a week or two before I started cranking out some content. But once I got started, I just kept telling myself things like, you have to stay on the path and be uncomfortable now to be comfortable later. So I kind of like, once I dove in, I was like, there's no going back. And it got easier over time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I mean, you started a week after you learned everything. It took me 10 years to start creating content because what was crazy is I knew the power of like creating content back when like YouTube was barely a thing, like back in 2008, 2009. And I was honestly I would not get on camera, like no matter what. And, I wish I would have started 10 years ago because that's when I knew I needed to start. So, you only waited a week where I waited almost 10 years to get started. So very good. So yeah, if you want to go ahead and just dive deep into, how you train your brain to kind of think about money, content creation, your framework. And, people, if you guys have any questions for Sarah, you can drop them down below and we can do some Q&A at the end, but go ahead and take it away.
Yeah. All right. So when I first started, I just wanted to kind of put it out there that I never was the kid growing up that thought I would be making content online, social media presence. I was the kid that was sitting there just scrolling through to entertain myself in my pastime. So when I first realized, okay, like content creation for a job, I was absolutely terrified. Over time, I've kind of learned how to break it down so it's not as scary, and you can kind of take it day by day or session by session if you're batch filming or batch creating. So I start with what I kind of call the 3x3. You have a minimum of 3 posts per account. So whether that be like 3 Instagram posts, 3 TikToks, and of course, the more the merrier. The more you do, the better. And then the other part of the 3x3 is motivation, eye catching, and educational. So when I sit down to make content, and let's say I'm just making 3 for, yesterday, just making 3, I'll make one piece of content that has to do with motivation for people. I'll make one that's kind of eye catching. And this is where you can kind of go dip your toe into making it, like clickbaity.
Mhm.
I personally keep it on the fine line between like clickbaity and just like really getting people engaged. And then for educational, it could be talking about, something about your niche to inform people. This way, it's super simple. It's not hard at all. And it just gets you on a track to just get some content created. Because I know that when I first started, I would sit down and I'm like, okay, I want to make 6 videos today. What the heck am I going to talk about? Because I didn't want to do the same things over and over again. So even if you don't do exactly those 3 every time you create content, you could mix and match. You could do 2 motivational, you could do 1 educational, you could do all eye catching. Setting up that like 3x3 framework for when I make content is just something that helped me get on the track to actually get started making the content. With that being said, it kind of leads into the mindset of continuing to make content. I will set up my camera and, whether I'm using audios from TikTok or I'm just filming something where I need to speak. And if I'm speaking, I'll just leave it on an open loop. I'll just press record on my camera and just keep going. This will help you get more relaxed and makes you feel like you're talking to not like an audience, just to people. Putting yourself into the mindset when you're making content of just, I'm hanging out, I'm talking with my friends, as if you're making TikTok videos or just content in general, whether it's, text or just your voice or editing, having fun with it in the sense of taking away the seriousness, even though it is for your job, taking away the seriousness of that and putting yourself in this, it's fun, it's for fun mindset can keep you from getting burned out, but then also keep you moving through the process. I think that a lot of people are really uncomfortable when they first start out. And that's something that I've learned over time since starting, is that what's uncomfortable now is going to pay off in the future if you keep pushing through it. But if what's uncomfortable now, you just don't do, or you don't put the time in to make comfortable later, is going to result in, delayed success. For me, it was super difficult to get on lives and do these interviews. It still is. I get super scared. I stumble around my words. Sometimes I'll completely lose my train of thought. So getting on a live stream to talk to people, whether it be TikTok or Instagram, Facebook, or an interview like this, kind of focusing on not like in a self-centered, like, focus on you, like I'm focusing on me thing, but focusing on, okay, what do I want to say? What do I want to help people with? Putting myself in that mindset and framework of, I'm here to help. I'm here to just be me, and I'm here to have fun with it. Talk to everybody like they are your friends. You obviously have the professional aspect to it, but without having the super, super seriousness, keeping your authority, but having fun can make it so much easier to get on and talk to people. As far as content creation, I know that I've gotten a lot of questions about like Instagram posts or posts that aren't really, video or entertaining. It's more of like informative. I think that you can take even the simplest piece of information and make that into a post. If you have a 3-step process for how to do something or set something up, for let's say if your niche is, animal care, and you want to talk about how to set up a living space for a specific animal, and the products that you're an affiliate for are incorporated in that. You can break that up into multiple posts. Even the simplest of things can be broken into multiple posts. So it not only makes it easier for the audience to understand, it kind of translates better, because social media is definitely very like instant satisfaction.
Yeah.
But it can also make it easier on you, because you're not stressing thinking that you're under delivering, when in fact you're delivering just the right amount, if not over delivering, because then engaging in your audience as well with the mindset that you're just communicating with people will all put together have that push in your algorithm of your account to make you grow. Excuse me.
Now, do you when you say like that you can go and create these simple posts, are you talking about, because you mentioned Instagram, were you talking about like creating videos or actual posts like pictures?
Both. The actual posts that aren't videos would just be like the pictures, and I use Canva to do that. It's
Okay.
free. They have a pro option for more templates, but if you type in like Instagram posts, it'll come up with a template already configured to the shape of an Instagram post. You can edit that and just have fun with it. That's how I build all of my regular picture posts for Instagram, and it's fun. So you're taking these templates that might look super professional or crazy to create, but you're just editing it in your own fun way.
Yeah. Now, I'm curious, just a more strategic question. Do you post more on TikTok or Instagram? Like, or what's your main focus, I guess?
My main focus has transitioned more to Instagram. However, I believe in repurposing content. So if I have 3 or 4 reels on Instagram, those are going to be my TikToks, or vice versa. If I have 3 or 4 TikToks, those will be my reels. However, I usually will do like 3 reels and 3 regular posts on Instagram. So I end up posting more on there. I think combining both platforms, or all platforms, whether that be like YouTube, Facebook as well, is something that's just going to make your reach more. For me, it's just easier to communicate with my audience through Instagram because of the DMs without, the limited characters of a comment section on TikTok.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I've been talking to a lot of people, and kind of last year it was all about TikTok, but I've seen a lot of people transition into Instagram. Me myself, I've been focusing on Instagram because not only can you post the reels or the short form videos, but you can also post regular posts like you were saying, and engage with your audience in a different way, right? With regular posts, with stories. So it's interesting that you mentioned that, because I've seen a lot of people kind of transition to that Instagram because of that, I guess, that ecosystem of being able to, nurture your audience. So I was just curious, because I knew you kind of started on TikTok, and I was like, I think you only did TikTok. Mm-hmm. So now you're just going, Instagram. So that's pretty cool. But anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. So the one thing I will mention about, TikTok as well, like you said, yes, I did start only being on TikTok. Yeah. And the issue with being on one platform and only focusing on one platform at a time is anything can happen and then you lose everything. So I've kind of had the experience of growing exponentially and then kind of having to almost start over. Mm-hmm. With TikTok, because of the way it is run, people can like spam report you. Mm-hmm. And that's unfortunately what happened with my one account, and I lost it. So then when I kind of restarted, I figured instead of taking that as a fail, I just kind of looked at it as a lesson learned and just kind of started a new TikTok and combined that with an Instagram and a Facebook group and went from there, and almost acted not like nothing happened, but just like you graduated to the next class in school. Keeping a lighthearted but still the authoritative mindset has been the easiest way to manage anything negative that happens in my business. So I've been seeing a lot of people do that as well. Like you mentioned, transitioning over to Instagram too. I feel like it's a more secure, because it's harder to get banned on. However, TikTok is just so much fun with the audios, and you can reach so many people and really hit that, instant pull to get an
Yeah.
audience in.
No, yeah, for sure. That's what makes TikTok so amazing, is that discoverability. I know Instagram is starting to get to that point. I mean,
Mhm.
they're looking for more people to use IG, so they're in return they're going to give people more discoverability, more followers, more engagement. So I can see the switch starting to happen, but we'll see kind of how it plays out. But either way, like, I mean, that's more strategy talk. Like, I know we're talking more about mindset. And what I
Mhm.
like about what you said is like, hey, I lost this big account. How much followers did you have on that TikTok account, by the way?
I think the day before it went down, I think it was at like 108 or 109,000 followers.
Okay, so yeah, you lost that account, and then were you pretty upset, or you just like, whatever, I'll just go right into it. I know the framework of how to create content. I just go start over again. Like, was it pretty smooth, or were you?
It was smooth, but it wasn't. I was definitely upset because I knew that it was
Yeah.
because of haters. I'd been told by support, you were receiving a ridiculous amount of reports for something.
Oh wow.
Um, so it was disheartening and a little blow to the motivation, but I knew that I couldn't let it stop me because I truly didn't do anything to cause, the loss of the account. So I just kind of, took a day or two. I think I hung out with some family, and then I just got right back on it and kept doing what I was doing, kind of adjusted even my mindset a little bit more to, you know, with social media, hate can have such a weight on people. I figured for every one person that hates, there's probably 10 or 20 people that I might have helped or inspired or made smile that day.
Yeah.
So thinking about that really kept the motivation going for creating the content.
Yeah, and what's crazy is like we go through these as entrepreneurs. I think we go through these cycles, right? Both good and bad. But the bad things, like the things that we can't control, like getting shut down, I think those are the things that make us stronger as an entrepreneur, right? Affiliate marketer, yeah, but as an entrepreneur, business owner, like these are the things that are going to happen, right? Like whether you lose an account, you lose a Facebook ad account, whatever, right? Anything could happen. You just got to figure out how to pivot and just continue on, right? There's so many things we can control, but there's also a lot of things we can't, right? Now, I'm assuming, are you building your email list with
Oh yeah.
okay. So I'm sure you like said, hey, make sure to follow me on my new account, which is really important, right? If you guys aren't building your email list, that's really, really important, right? Because an email list, you really can't lose that. Like if you lose an email, like if an email autoresponder were to shut you guys down, like by law, they have to give you that email list. So that, in my opinion, is the safest way to kind of hedge against, these social media platforms, because we don't own these platforms. We don't own TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. So we have to do what we have to do, which is building an email list. But Sarah, so we have a lot of people that are just terrified of getting on camera, right? Like they know they need to create content. They know the power of creating videos. Like that's why I'm doing this traffic challenge, to push people to do it. But there's still a lot of people on the sidelines. How do you get them to start creating content, right? I mean, I could only do so much to kind of push people out of their comfort zone. But what do you tell somebody, maybe a different perspective, to like, hey, like you need to start creating content so you can get to where you want to be?
The first thing I always tell people is to get comfortable, in the sense of put yourself somewhere comfortable. If for example, in my content, I'm in my living room, I'm wearing like jeans and a t-shirt. If that's what you're comfortable doing, don't change that. If you're, get dolled up, put on a suit or put on a dress, and that's what you're comfortable in, do that.
Yeah.
Put yourself in an environment that makes you comfortable. If you're not ready to talk on camera, I didn't talk in my first bits of content for a while. Just put on your phone, and I started with doing just TikToks. This also kind of answers a question I saw. I was doing like 15-second videos for a while until I got more comfortable making content. Just because it's still getting stuff out there, but I'm not having to pressure myself too much in the beginning to hit that like 30-second mark, and now that I know they have like the minutes and longer videos as well.
Yeah.
Keeping them short. Try something. If it didn't really come out the way you did it, I gave myself three retakes, and if it wasn't how I exactly wanted it, I'd draft it and move on to doing something else with a different audio or different concept, just so I wasn't burning myself out on one idea. As far as getting you comfortable with talking on camera, I've propped up my phone and just recorded and just started talking, answering questions that I've written down on a piece of paper, talking about something completely unrelated to my business. I've had a Zoom call with like 2 or 3 different friends from high school and college, and would just kind of say, hey, can I just kind of like act like I'm presenting something
Yeah.
real quick, and
Yep.
just kind of talk. Even family members too, because even though you're already comfortable with them, you're getting used to being the one in control and directing a conversation.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. Now you mentioned your 3x3. You said you do motivation, eye catching, educational.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do that to kind of nurture your audience in a different way, or like which one of those posts, I guess, gets you the most clicks to buy more products? I'm curious because I'm assuming the eye catching one.
Mm-hmm.
But what's kind of your strategy with that? Like the motivation, the eye catching, educational. Like, why do you do those 3 different ones? I'm just curious because I know people will create different types of content, to kind of nurture their audience. But what's your main goal with those 3 types?
Yeah. So, yes, numbers wise for like views, likes, comments, kind of engagement, the eye catching one usually does grab more people in. However, I do think that the educational one is kind of like a close second. The reason I decided to kind of create content around that instead of only doing, eye catching or only doing motivational stuff was because I didn't want to have my content and accounts just kind of be what
Yeah.
I describe as like one-sided in a way.
Mhm. One
I wanted to
dimension.
show diversity because I figured, that eye-catching video might get people to like it, comment, become a lead, become a paying lead, become a follower. But when they go look at the rest of my content, they're going to realize, oh, like I can actually learn. Oh, wow, like I was really down today and I saw this motivational post. So I
Mm.
feel like it gets people to check back in. So it keeps your audience engaged because not only are they going to see, they're going to know after a certain amount of time, okay, that's the eye-catching one.
Yeah.
That's the clickbaity video or content or whatever. But they're like, okay, here's her daily motivation one, or here's something I can learn every day, like just a little note. So it's not only tailoring a cold lead or someone who's like fresh to your page, but it's tailoring your warm and hot leads as well, because you're kind of stirring the pot for everybody to be in.
Yeah, so essentially your eye catching is kind of like you're the top of funnel, right? You're getting all these new people. Maybe now they're following you, they're commenting,
Mm-hmm.
and then you hit them with an educational or motivation, and then you kind of start building that trust in with you, right? Is that kind of the goal with that?
Yeah, because
Got
at
it.
the end of the day, I want people to feel like when they're coming to my content and my accounts or me as a person, if they respond to my emails, you're coming to like a safe place to
Yeah.
learn, no matter what level you're at. I've had people that I've communicated with that they've literally asked, what is affiliate marketing?
Mhm.
And then I've had people ask me about, back end of funnel building and email automations. And I want everybody to feel comfortable to ask any questions they have, because when I came in, less than a year ago in March, I was aware of what affiliate marketing was, but I had no idea about funnel building, email automations, and I was so scared to ask questions on these, big content creators
Yeah.
platforms because I didn't want to, like, oh, I don't want to sound dumb or something
Yeah.
like that. So by building that trust with my audience, by doing the 3 different types of content, I felt like I was able to create that safe place for everybody.
No, that's awesome. Very good. Now, I don't know if you have, if you want to do Q&A or if you have more that you want to mention, however you want to do it.
Yeah, I had a little bit more on mindset just to kind of like in your
Yeah.
day to day, whether it's business related or not, and then we can definitely go into Q&A. I see
Yeah,
some
let's go.
questions coming in already.
Sounds good.
So I feel like obviously with being an entrepreneur, you're in control of your schedule. You're in control of setting everything up. If you choose to work for 5 hours one day, 2 hours the next day, 30 minutes the next day, that's completely up to you. I feel like there's this pressure, unspoken, sometimes it's spoken about, pressure of being an entrepreneur, that if you take a day off, that's a day wasted. You could have been working on your business and building your business.
Mm-hmm.
I feel personally this is a surefire way to burn you out and make you start to resent that job that you started doing to be able to be free and enjoy life. So with that being said, I literally set myself up to, when my family is off, which is usually like Saturdays, Friday evenings, I don't work. I may respond to a comment, may respond to an email, something that's really important, but I will set time aside for myself, whether that be to read a book or watch a Netflix show. And the stigma around, oh, you're wasting time by just sitting there watching TV. You need that time. You need to be able to set that time aside for you to relax and enjoy the fruits of what you're doing, whether that be going out to a good dinner or something. So that's one thing mindset wise that really was difficult once I got into, I think probably about 4 months into things, and like things were going, was a lot of people, and it's not bad of them to say, but by any means, but they were really saying like, you have to stay on the grind, you have to keep grinding. And it's, yes, you do, but you have to be able to breathe as well. I know you have a family, Jonathan, so being able to take that time to spend time with them keeps you going, because it keeps your mind just like fresh and not overworked. With that being said too, I know that when you're getting into something that's new to you, but you've learned enough, I still consider myself a fairly new entrepreneur because I haven't been doing this a year, but I still know what I'm doing. Hitting the imposter syndrome of, who am I to talk about this stuff, or what do I know just because it worked for me. Sitting back and really thinking in the mindset that you're talking to you 3 months ago, 2 months ago, a year ago. So when I come on and try to help people, I think, okay, what are the questions I had back in March? What was my mindset back in March? And trying to cater to that and help solve that problem for people. So just those few things for, your personal life, and also just helping you move forward to help other people within your business, mindset wise, really made a difference, because some people think it's silly. Some people don't take it as seriously because they think if they have that, guidebook step by step to set stuff up, they'll be fine. Your mindset really is what moves you forward. I can tell, if there's a week I'm in a bad mindset, how things are kind of content may not be as great, or I'm not getting content out as much or as well. Having yourself in that mindset and keeping yourself healthy mentally is huge when being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so it's crazy. When I started, I was kind of like you. I was just like grind. I need to get out of this job. I don't have time to do anything else. I would work and then create content and go to work and create content. I literally just did that. I wish I would have actually seen this when I was first starting, because that burned me out. There was days where I just I can't do this anymore, right? I just I had to, I literally had to take a few days off and okay, I reset my mindset. And even now, I have to do that, right? Because there's, everyone thinks this online game is easy, right? All you guys do is just create videos. Well, it's actually a lot of brain power that we use, and we have to take that time off. That really resonated with me, so that was awesome. Let me see here. Oh no, I just saw something. Okay, awesome, Sarah. Now I'm curious. What do you tell someone that? And I'm not sure if this has happened to you, because it seemed like you were able to kind of see success fairly quickly. But what if someone's starting out, they finally get out of their comfort zone, they start creating content, and let's just say they're 6 months in, right? But they're not seeing really the results that they want. Okay, they're not really getting any leads, any sales. What would you tell that person in that mindset? Because that is disheartening, right? Because you're doing all these things you're being told, and for some reason they're just not getting the results. What would you tell that person?
I was told this at one point as well, because of, getting back on a platform, you're starting over. Take a breath and take a step back. Even if it's a day, even if you want to do a week and just kind of like focus on something else. I've taken, a week off from doing stuff before. Take a breath. Don't panic, because everything can be, refined. Look back at your content, or have a friend, someone you trust, look at your content and try something new. When I started, I was, pointing to things and having text, or I would just stand there and have text and do like a little dance or something and just smile. And when that started to not work as well, I took a step back and kind of, I think I took like 3 or 4 days off, spent some time with my little sister and my family. Came back and was like, all right, let's try something new. Let's make that first video where I'm talking. Once I made that first video, I drafted it, had a whole bunch of friends look at it, and then posted it. Once I posted that, it opened a door of new motivation and a new level of thinking, because I got out of that, this is uncomfortable, so I'm not going to do it. So I think that if you've been grinding and you've been working for a while, but you're not seeing those results that you want, taking a step back and then trying something completely new. If your content's usually super serious, make a funny video one time. That could be the difference. You never know, especially with TikTok, you never know what video could be the difference for you. Also keeping in mind, like, why are you doing this? Obviously, we need, to make an income, pay bills and stuff like that, pay off debts. But what are you doing beyond that? For me, I started doing this because I wanted to be able to communicate with people around the world. I wanted to be able to help not only my generation, but, anyone older than me as well, that there are other options. Because I know for me, it was always that, like, high school, college, 9 to 5, retire once you're old. That's when you can enjoy things. And learning that there's some other way to do this, and sharing that with others, keeping that why in mind, can keep you on that right track, even though you're not getting those results yet.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that it's tough because, there's some people that will blow up out of nowhere, but then there's also people that haven't seen the results that they want. So that's why I wanted to ask that question, because some people will just be able to blow up, and when some people can't, it's like that'll crush them, right? Actually, that happened to me back when I was doing other side hustles, other things. I'm like, why can't I get this thing to work? And I did have to spend like months actually where I'm like, okay, I just got to stop and just figure out what I'm doing. What's my actual why? Am I doing this just to get rich quick overnight, or what's the actual why and why I want to do this, right? Is it, what's the thing that's going to drive me to where I want to get? So that's awesome, Sarah. I love it. Awesome. Well, let me see if there's any questions in there, or I don't know if did you want to keep going on that?
I did see a few questions. One was by a gentleman named Ben. How do you conquer feeling inspired and motivated, but discouraged at the same time? I've actually felt that. You've got all the information in front of you. You see these people, you're really excited, but there's still something holding you back from starting. That's kind of what held me, even though it was only like a week or two, that's what held me back from starting. Was I was super ready to go. I felt like I had the information, all these tools, but I still wasn't going. There are a few different ways to handle that. One, you could literally, it might sound silly to some people, but just journal it. Journal what you're feeling, like unfiltered, just write down what you think is going on. I've talked to my animals. I have bunnies and a guinea pig, literally just look at them and just kind of, because, you love them, they're your world, and just kind of talk, let it out, whatever it is, unfiltered, stop the overthinking and just let it flow. I did this quite a few times, and I realized that what was holding me back was the thought of, like, who am I to start creating content and be like, someone that's online all the time? Like, what makes me like special? Or, some people use the word entitled to do that. And once I realized that was my problem, I started saying, well, hey, I could be helping someone that has the same mindset as me. You know, there could be another guy or gal out there that feels like they shouldn't be making content, and I could start doing it now. I have the tools to do it, and I could change their way of thinking too. So kind of shifting into, again, back to like your why of you want to do this, and why you're getting into this industry in general, and your messaging towards your audience really helped overcome that like last bit of holding me back. And everybody has other reasons too. You know, some people have an insecurity physically, which I think, you know, for me, you know, I don't get, you know, I'm 23. A lot of girls my age, you know, they've got their hair done and their makeup done, and I don't really do that. And that was definitely a physical insecurity as well, of making like content with my face in it. And I figured, then I'm talking to the girl that's like me, or I'm talking to the guy that's like me that doesn't, you know, do his hair and get dressed up in fancy clothes. Putting myself in the thought process of like, if these people were my friend, that's who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
And even though, yes, you're talking to everybody, there are people that, you know, they may get dressed up and you're talking to them as well. But to keep my mind flowing, to get over that last bit of, you know, things that are discouraging me, was enabling me to really push through.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, everyone has their own target audience at the end of the day, right? Like I feel like we attract people like us, right? So however we are, like if you act the way, if you're just being you, like you're just going to attract your people, right? Of course, we're going to go and attract other people as well. But I think essentially we attract who we are. And that's what I've seen in this industry. So great question, Ben, and awesome answer, sir. I love it. Let's see here. I don't know if there's any other questions that you want to answer. If you want to, let me see here.
I saw one, how to choose the best products to promote. I say look at your interests first. Look at what you do on a day-to-day basis. You know, if you're someone who really likes, you know, lawn care or taking care of a home, use that to your advantage. You know, look at that stuff first. I have animals. I'm constantly at the pet store. So, you know, using that to your advantage. If you paint or you make models, or, you know, fashion or fishing or a certain sport, there are affiliate programs for pretty much every niche out there. So looking into your interests first definitely helps you at least get started in a direction of what niche to get into.
Yeah, love it. So I have a question for you, sir. What programs did you take, or what books did you read to kind of get your mindset to where you're at now? Because I think this is really powerful, because for me, it took a long time for me personally to get the mindset I needed to kind of become the entrepreneur that I am today, right? Like years and years. What was the thing or the course or the book that got you to switch your mindset?
So even though I did like take the step of starting with Legendary, there was still that bit in the back of my mind that was like, you know, how far is this really going to go? How long is this going to last? I think that what got me out of that after finishing the challenge was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That book and Think and Grow Rich were the first two books I ever read. It really talked about the mindset of, you know, it's not about earning as much money as possible. It's about making as much time. And by doing that, you're making the income work for you. So although, again, yes, you know, we all have to make money, we have bills to pay, I will think about my messaging first. I'll force myself to think about that first, and the rest follows. Switching from that mindset rather than that 9-to-5 mindset of like, I have to put in so many hours in order to get this kind of paycheck, was really the turning point.
That's huge. What you just said there is like, I think people think that, oh, I'm putting in 20 hours, so I should get this much, right? Where no, it's like you're going to put a lot of time here, you know, and then eventually it's just going to all pay back. But it's not like a linear equation where it's like, oh, put 10 hours in, I get $100 an hour, whatever it is, right? So That's huge. Actually, my first book was Rich Dad Poor Dad, and then I also read Think and Grow Rich. Those are great books, by the way. The book for me that changed my mindset was actually Extreme Ownership. I'm not sure if you've read that one by Jocko Willink.
It's on my list.
Gotta read that one. Oh my gosh, that one literally changed my whole life because essentially what the book is about is like taking ownership for everything that goes wrong. Like, and because he was a former Navy SEALs, and like anything that went wrong, it was his fault, right? He was like the captain, the guy that led his team.
Yeah.
And he had to take ownership of everything that went wrong. So I applied that to my business, right? Like I was like, when I first started, things went wrong with my YouTube channel and I lost my Facebook ad accounts. And, when I started, I was like, oh my gosh, I just like everything's going wrong. Everything's like nothing's going right. And after I read that book, I was like, okay, everything is my fault. And that's it. Like literally that's the mindset that I went moving forward. And since then I've been able to kind of apply that. So it's an awesome book, Sarah. Like I'm curious to know your thoughts whenever you read it, but just want to kind of mention the book that I read, but yeah.
It's kind of funny that you mentioned that of like taking the ownership, because that's something that one, that's what enticed me to put that book on my list, but then also, being able to, I know for some people, like taking accountability for that and being like, everything is under my control is sometimes super stressful. I know that for me, I definitely can like overwhelm myself with that of just being like, this is all my fault. It's crashing and burning. It's all me, and kind of spiral down. So being able to sit there and also say that it's my lesson too, if something goes bad, like losing an account that you've spent a while building, it was pretty big, it's my lesson. Because I knew that when it first happened, telling myself it's all my fault, I was going to just spiral. So taking those, quote, failures or downfalls as, just lessons or a building block to put on the ground and step up on to get you to that next step too is super beneficial with keeping yourself motivated.
Yeah, no, absolutely, for sure. Okay, cool, guys. Let me see here. Someone said, Lena asked, Sarah, what's your TikTok? So yeah, where can people follow you on TikTok, Instagram? Yeah.
Yeah. So on TikTok, it's the Blonde Affiliate and the number 2. Because, the other account was the Blonde Affiliate. It wouldn't let me use the same name. On Instagram, it's just the Blonde Affiliate. And through my link, you can also find my Facebook group, which is a way to reach me, kind of more personally and quicker. But then also if you opt in for emails, you can always respond to those emails. I always encourage people, even though they're on an automation, you can respond at any time with any questions that you have.
Awesome. So I threw it up there just so it's there, guys. So that's your TikTok. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, cool. And then your Instagram is the Blonde Affiliate without the 2.
Yeah.
Awesome. Very good. Well, I don't know if there's any other questions in there, or if you have anything else you want to kind of talk about when it comes to mindset, or if you guys have any other questions. Yeah.
I saw one question about when I first started, how I was skeptical and what kind of changed my mind from that. From it being quote a scam to being actually legit. I think it was researching companies and realizing that if it was a scam, these companies probably wouldn't have these programs. They wouldn't have entire sites set up for me to read through how their affiliate program is. So I feel like looking into that and even reading reviews from the affiliate sites made the huge difference of absolutely putting that stamp of approval that this is a legit, industry to get into.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for the question, Nate. There's one by Joe here at the bottom. I don't know if you want to answer that one.
How to raise self-image. I feel like everybody has value, no matter whether they get dolled up or you're young or you're old or you wear sweatshirts and sit on your couch. Everybody is offering something, and you're going to speak to someone. You're going to resonate with someone. So to raise your self-image, think about the people around you that already, love you. Think about your family, your, significant others, your friends, even asking them, if you need that next step too. I know that I asked my boyfriend at one time, like, what makes you listen or engage to something that I'm talking about that I know about that you don't? Like, if I'm like
Mhm.
sharing something that I know that he doesn't, what makes you want to learn whatever I'm talking about? And kind of getting that feedback from people you already know. And, the answer was, you talk relaxed. You don't, I don't talk super authoritative. I'm still having the authority of giving the information, but kind of talking to people as if they're friends and family was, for me, what kind of was like, all right, so like I can use that to my advantage. If I talk like that to my audience, that makes me more relatable, and, kind of just building on that image as well of just how I thought about myself. The physical image part, I definitely stress, like, don't change who you already are. If
Mhm.
you wear polos and khakis, keep doing that if that's what you're comfortable in. Because the moment you start doing something, like if I got dressed up in a ball gown and started making content, as soon as I put myself in that uncomfortable situation, it's going to relay in your content, in your business, in the way you communicate as well.
Yeah, no, that's huge. I mean, it's funny because when I first started kind of getting out there, I would try to be someone I wasn't, like just acting like, other influencers, other people that I
Mm-hmm.
saw on YouTube at the time. And it is very uncomfortable because you're trying to be someone you're not. And until I switched that, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to be me, energetic and, just be me, right? Like wearing what I want to wear. That was such a big difference. But like, it's funny because it's simple. Like it's stuff that like we should know, but like, we just try to be someone we're not. I think when you first get started, at least that was the issue for me. So that's awesome. Thanks for answering that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. There's no other questions, Sarah. I don't know if you have any other parting words or anything else you want to mention, but yeah.
I think I just want to tell people that, no matter what you look like, what you sound like, where you come from, whether you have like a college education or not, whether you even finished high school or not, you can absolutely learn anything. You
Mhm.
can learn how to do this industry. You may do it differently than other people. Your path may be different than mine, but you can definitely be successful if you stick with it and just kind of keep yourself in that mindset about why you're doing this in the first place.
Yeah, that's huge. I felt like I couldn't learn anything when I first started. So that is such a great suggestion there. So I love it. Thank you, Sarah.
Of course.
Cool. Well, guys, make sure to follow Sarah on TikTok. So it's the Blonde Affiliate 2. I just posted it there. Or Instagram or at just the Blonde Affiliate. And then, yeah, go ahead and follow her. And thank you, Sarah, for being on. It was a pleasure having you. And you're crushing it. I can't wait to see you in the next couple, 2 to 5 years to see where you're at in your entrepreneur journey. You've been able to grow, very quickly. So I'm excited to see how you grow as an entrepreneur.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys so much for being on. We'll see you guys on the next one. God bless.